So if we're in the new heavens and new earth, and there's still wicked people, right? Outside the gates, we know there's the dogs and etc. Uh, are what did he ask? He said, well, then what are we saying about like where do they go? Like what is their yeah, what do we say about them? I mean, I'm curious to hear, do you have a kind of a statement that you could say in response to that? While you're talking, if you don't mind, I might try to dig up the quote to say it appropriately. But if you don't mind, follow through with that thought. What would you say about no sea in the new heavens and new earth? And why are there wicked folks that are clearly in this new reality being mentioned?
Okay. Okay. So from my perspective, what I'm talking about is covenant control. So Genesis 1 is the covenant control of the time period from Adam to Jesus. So that was how all things between God, that's how God adjudicated the world, was through that process. That process came to a complete end and it is now null and void. However, we're using the same building terms. So what we end up seeing is we now have a day one system. In this day one system, all that we have in it is a heaven and an earth. What did heaven and earth used to mean? Heaven used to be the temple. Earth used to be the territory, the grounds in which surrounded the promised land given to the covenant people. So, like when we saw the earth of Israel was Canaan. So when we take a look at the earth of Adam, it was Eden. So we take a look at the earth, that's the promised land. Well, that was the domain, that was the dominion given to the people. Now in the new kingdom, all we have is and the sea was those excluded from all those things. So the heaven was the temple, the territory was the earth, and the sea was everyone excluded from that. Now in the new kingdom, we have the new temple, which is God dwelling amongst his people, in his people, walking among the world, no physical boundaries. And we have the territory of God's, which is all things. Nobody is excluded. Everybody is now part of the covenant. So does that mean everybody is going to act right? No, this has no bearing upon anybody's behavior. This has to do with the adjudication of one system to another. All we're talking about is governance. The people haven't changed. The way they're governed does. So why would they stop being evil? That's not the point. The point is we need governance because we're evil. So that's the system changing from one to another. The system used to try to show good people got elevated. The new system says you all are the same. There's only one who gets elevated, and that's the way through. So the playing field was leveled and made even, but we're all still in the exact same position. Before we used to have one way to get to God's presence. Now we have another way to get to God's presence, but it's the same world. People being born and wanting to walk with God. The world has never changed. Situations have never changed. How God made it possible to come into his presence has changed. That's what I would say to that.